Hey everybody, so it is Monday, almost 5 o'clock in the evening, and I'm going to go ahead and do my things this week. So the three topics are, number one, three things that you love about your spouse or significant other. Number two is the last thing that you bought online. And then number three is games that you played as a child. So I'm going to go ahead and do it in reverse order because I have a little story to tell. So let's start with the games. Two games that I remember playing most vividly as a kid, in terms of games that I played, for me, was Chutes and Ladders. I always think that there's a camp that you're either a Candyland person or you're a Chutes and Ladders person, and I was a Chutes and Ladders person. I remember playing it with my dad a lot. And then I also have very, very, very strong memories. Probably my earliest memory, period, ever, is my parents and my grandparents, my mom's mom and dad coming over. Wow, I'm getting emotional, sorry. Because my mom's passed and both of my grandparents are passed on my mom's, well, actually on both sides. But it was specifically my mom and my dad when they were still together, and my grandparents, my mom's mom and dad, coming over like every week and playing Yahtzee. And I never played with them when I was little, but I remember being around them, and I don't know, I just always thought it was like the coolest thing, like being a grown-up and coming over and like playing games as being part of like grown-up socializing. I always thought was just like super, super cool. So those are like some of my really good, very, very early memories. Wow, I didn't expect that to trigger anything. So yeah, then the last thing I bought online. So technically the last thing that I bought online really isn't all that fun. Last thing I bought online was some antibiotics for my dog. So I'm gonna go back to the thing that I bought before that. Back in May, April and May, my husband and I were directing and assistant directing, respectively, a production of Bye Bye Birdie, and I was handling a lot of the costume ordering, and I ordered the fezzes for the Shriner scene. Well, long story short, we ended up pulling out of the production. Really long story. So I had ordered the fezzes right before we had pulled out of the production. So they showed up after we were done, and I was like, screw it. I'm keeping the fezzes. So the last thing that I bought online was a half dozen red fezzes with yellow tassels. They sat in a box in our trunk from May up until last month. After my husband's birthday party, some of the fellas were still hanging around, and we're like, oh shit, we still have those fezzes, impromptu birthday hats. So I'm gonna post a little photo of my husband and some of his friends in their birthday fezzes. Okay, so then the last question is the three things that you love about your husband or spouse. So number one is my husband's sense of humor. He is the goofiest, most ridiculous man I know. He's hilarious. I pretend that sometimes, like, that his dumb boy humor, like, pisses me off. Not really pisses me off, but I do the eye roll and like, whatever. But I find it really funny. He's really into puns. I know that sounds so lame, and it is. It's totally lame. But like, he's really he's very punny, and I always it tickles him so much when he makes a really good pun, and I just go I groan, but I find it hilarious. Number two is just how selfless he is. How I don't want to say good provider because it makes me sound like Betty Draper, but like, he's a good provider. Like, he's a hard worker in everything that he does. Like, he works so flipping hard, and I know that he's a bartender, and so he's on his feet like all day long, and even like in spite of that, he'll, if I need anything, he's always like, oh, I'll run it back out to the store and I'll go get it for you, or whatever. Like, he loves, like, just, like, doing things for me. And I don't mean that in, like, I need to be, like, waited on hand and foot, but, like, just the fact that he will work hard both at home and, like, at his job and not think anything of it, just because he knows, like, that it's the right thing to do. And then the third thing, like I said, I had a little story. My husband deals with all of the creepy crawly stuff and all the gross stuff that I don't want to deal with, that I can't handle. So story, I come home from running errands this morning, and our cat, who up until a couple months ago was an indoor-outdoor cat, we've now decided to keep him indoor only, was meowing at the door, and so I was doing my normal, kind of shooing him away and telling him, like, chill the fuck out. And my husband goes, oh yeah, so, like, there's been this squirrel that's been antagonizing Dewey, our cat. And, like, he'll just, like, come up and, just, like, hang around, like, literally hang around on the screen door. And then I scare him away, and then he comes back. And I was like, that's weird. And, long story short, so this squirrel, so we live in an apartment. We have, like, this little outside, like, little storage closet that's connected, like, to our balcony, like, in our apartment. Well, the door isn't flush to the ground. It's, like, maybe, like, a good 2 inches from the ground. So there's, like, a little gap in between. So apparently the squirrel has been going back and forth into there and then coming out, hanging on the screen door until Dave scares him away, and then going back in. So I call the apartment complex, they won't do anything. I call pest control, they won't do anything because it's an apartment complex. And I'm terrified. Like, the pest control guy that I talked to was like, oh yeah, if the squirrel's just going in there and back out and back in, I mean, like, it's a nice day, like, the squirrels would be hanging around outside. Yeah, there's probably babies in there. I flipped out. Like, I started crying. I know, it's so ridiculous. But yeah, I started crying. So, the only thing that we could think of to do was to have somebody, whoever it was, open up the little closet door, chase the squirrel out, and then thankfully that closet is pretty empty. There's only, like, maybe 4 or 5 boxes, like our Christmas tree and some ornaments and the box the TV came in. That's it. And to check those boxes for itty bitty baby squirrels. And my husband did that. Like, he went out there and checked everything and chased the squirrel off of our balcony and blocked up that little gap in between the floor and the door into that storage unit. And while I literally hid in the bedroom with the dogs and the cat, because I couldn't handle it. So yeah, thank you, honey, for handling all of the creepy crawly gross stuff that I'm too freaked out to deal with. So that was my things this week, and I'm gonna do a little food check-in later on tonight and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to make sure I got my TTW done before I forgot. Okay, I'll see everybody later on.